Thank you for tuning in to Stories in Your Hands with Cynthia Clark, the podcast about creating the life you want regardless of your story. This podcast is sponsored by loveinyourhands.com, the place to go to find long-lasting love using the most innovative and accurate algorithm based in scientific palmistry. Tired of superficial connections? Start your free Soulmate Connection membership today at loveinyourhands.com. Now here's your host, Cynthia Clark, palm reading consultant and compatibility expert. Hi there, everyone. This is Cynthia Clark, and I'm super excited about today's topic. I'm always excited to talk about health and wellness because I feel like, if you have your health, you have everything, right? It just stems into the entire rest of your life. And when you're not healthy, it also stems into the rest of your life. And it's just one of those things that is so important. And I wanted to start out with a little palm reading because I know that the hands really do help you understand who you are, and they reflect everything about you. And this includes your health, by the way. So one of the most important things that you can check in your own hands, actually, we're going to talk about two things. Number one is your lifeline, which, by the way, your lifeline does not tell you anything about how long you are going to live. That is totally a myth. So forget about that. But what we do want to look at in terms of the lifeline is the quality of the line. Okay, so in fact, the quality of all the lines is very important. So when, by the way, the lines do change, they ebb and flow, they represent rivers of energy. They show what is going on with you, and it's reflecting back to you like a mirror. Okay, so your lifeline is definitely one of your most important lines in your hand because it does form 5 months before you're born. Actually, around the same time that fingerprints form, your major lines also form, which is interesting, but they do change over time. So if you're a human, you have a lifeline. Okay, so first off, everybody has this line. Otherwise, you're not alive. Okay, so it's located here and it goes around your thumb ball. Okay, so this big kind of fleshy part of your hand. And it's usually the strongest line on your hand. However, this is not always the case. Okay, so your lifeline, if it's not the strongest line in your hand, then chances are you have some health issues or some health challenges and you need to address that. But what I'm talking about in terms of quality of the line, you want the line to be really clear. Okay, so when it's not clear, it's going to have what we call islands or chaining or breaks. Things like that are going to show up. So a chain is when the line kind of weaves like this and looks like a chain link fence. And when it breaks, of course, the line will stop and then start again. And so anytime there's a break or a chain, or just if the line is not clear, that is showing a stress in your own vitality. So it's really important for you to pay attention to that because it could mean trouble is on the way in terms of having an illness that's going to come up, or just something for you to pay attention to. It can be a change in your stability, those kinds of things. It could be somebody around you that's also going to change your stability. So it could represent just your environment as well. So that's one place to look for. Another really important place to check on your hands is your fingernails. So your fingernails actually show up illnesses and challenges and problems oftentimes before you see or feel physical symptoms. So just check the quality of your nails, and if they're not healthy, then chances are you have something going on that needs to be addressed and maybe you want to get it checked out. So, and I'm not going to go into all the details of fingernails. That's actually would be a whole show right there. But I just want to give you a heads up, like check your fingernails and see how healthy they are. So that brings us to today's guest, which I'm really excited to introduce you to. His name is Vitaly Tennant, And he has been working on network marketing and building business in the health and wellness industry, stemming from an entrepreneurial background to help others succeed by living life on their terms, which is absolutely what this show is all about. So I'm really excited to bring him on the show. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much, Cynthia, and it's a pleasure to be here. And of course, just throughout your introduction, I, I almost wanted to look at my hands and my fingernails as you were giving this introduction. So it's very interesting to learn about the hands, and of course, you brought up the lifeline and how that is formed, 5 months prior to birth. So that is just incredible information. And of course, I'm honored to be here. So thank you for having me here.
Oh, thank you. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into the health and wellness industry. How did this happen for you?
Absolutely. Well, basically, I was actually born in another country. I was born in Russia, and I came to the United States in 1995. And through the hardships, and I've seen in other countries through travel and everywhere else, I've seen people, for example, like the poor and middle class, having uh, bad and low malnutrition because of the food and the minerals um, were much smaller. And then in today's world, we have the dollar tacos, the dollar meals, the Happy Meals, and we're actually in a world where people will never stop from being born. And the foods are getting bigger. The fruits, the vegetables are getting larger and larger, but the minerals and vitamins are getting smaller and smaller. And so there is a big epidemic as far as individuals. For example, if we take a look at our world today, 1 out of 3 people are overweight in the world. Obesity is the most known disease in the world. And so inflammation and everything else stems from something like that. So the way I got introduced into health and wellness, Cynthia, was I created my first e-commerce website back in 1998. And at that time, I actually had a blog when internet was still fairly new to a lot of people. And I've had a blog that was getting hundreds of thousands of views a week, unique hits. And I've looked for opportunities to feature, to help individuals, just because I came from another country, and then I came into the United States, and there was a different environment. And just the other day, I listened to somebody on one of our conference calls saying that here as we walk around, like in America, it's almost completely okay to be obese and overweight. It's something that is seen as normal and natural these days. But the healthcare and everything else continues to rise, and people's health is truly decreasing. So at an early age, it's a good idea to ultimately really pay for health today, so we don't have to pay for it later. And so that is kind of my background. I've researched what can I share with my following as far as that would help and benefit them. Because when we look at the online world today, there's just so much virtual and digital stuff online, a lot of tutorials, and even when we look at online currency, there are over 1,000 different online currencies. So a lot of people are putting so much money into different health advice and everything else. But at the same time, we do have to look at something that is tangible. For example, there's a reason why like eBay and Amazon are the #1 home-based businesses in the world, is because not only people sell cars and houses and art and expensive things on them, but the upside to that is when somebody orders something online, they receive it right to their mailbox, right to their front door, right to their address. So they actually get to touch, feel, taste, and smell for what they actually pay for. So I found out that it's very interesting to be able to share health and wellness products that come to wherever you are, really, and it's good to. Um, so that's where the health and wellness industry is just very important in that aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the internet has just opened up everything. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool that you came from Russia and you are so, like, you got into the internet so early. That's really interesting. I think a lot of Americans, weren't even on that page.
Well, yeah, I got, New York was the very first state that I saw when I came from Russia, and of course I completely excited. I was young back then, and I saw the opportunity. Of course, I see the opportunity, but now, like as you mentioned, Cynthia, internet has exploded. The opportunity is endless, and one of my favorite books is called Think and Grow Rich by the Napoleon Hill by Napoleon Hill. Of course, he now has the Napoleon Hill Foundation, but ultimately, it is called Think and Grow Rich, not work hard and grow rich. We just have to work smarter, and internet actually allows people to do something like that. And the reality is that there's been more gold mined from a human mindset, from the thoughts, than anything physical in the world. And that's something that internet is something, one of those things, right? I mean, it's
Mhm.
ultimately connects people, and yeah, the tangible products and all those aspects, they quite align with the health and wellness industry. Even when we're talking and I see a hand of your palm reading, that's something that can be done over the internet, and it can be scanned, and then based on what your assessments are, things can be prescribed over the internet and things like that. And I know I've met some blood microscopists over the years of being in health and wellness industry, where they can look at a blood sample and then prescribe different medications and health and things like that, because when it comes to health, life is truly is in the blood. And there are many things that can be accomplished. I'm by no means a health expert, but I just enjoy the arena of betterment of life in general, because there are three things that most people ultimately want in this life, and that is more income, more money, of course. That the second one would be more health. That's really important. There are a lot of people that are laying in hospital beds right now that would give all their money just so they can have a breath without any pain. And of course, time is very important. When it comes to currency, we all have the same currency when it comes to time. We all have 24 units in a day, so 24 hours. Some people can spend it doing at work, or having a job that they may not like. Others can do something that they enjoy, and that's where that freedom comes in: the money freedom, the health freedom, and of course time freedom comes. And that's why I picked the network marketing industry, because it really just packages all that in one industry. It's actually a $200 billion a year industry, with all the companies around, about 150 million active distributors worldwide. And I enjoy the marketing because, let's say you're walking through a Walmart, or Publix or Kroger, or whatever your local grocery store is. When you're looking at different types of food, whether it's cereal, chips, drinks, and everything else, the money, people recognize that, but the money that goes into advertising, those companies put about 68% of their entire budget to advertise those products, like Coca-Cola, Doritos chips. People just know it because those companies dish out tens upon hundreds of millions to make those products known worldwide for the consumers. And where network marketing, for example, comes in and says, hey, instead of paying for advertising, or we see it on commercials on TV, where whether it's Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie or someone, they're holding a drink or a product. They're not necessarily using it, but their name is associated with that product, and that gets the audiences or people who are watching it to purchase those products, and of course they get paid and so on. And where network marketing says, let's just have a marketing product idea where we get to pay real people, everyday people, to share results of a particular product, of a particular company. So instead of paying tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people to promote stuff the through the means of how majority of the companies do it, through the regular outlets of commercials and media streams like that. Network marketing has taken upon itself to say, hey, we'd rather pay all those commissions to everyday people. And of course, you get to hear it from the people you trust as well. People who are in your social circles that can come in and testify and say things. For example, well, look at this product, look at this testimonial, look what it is doing. And a lot of products are made in FDA-approved facilities. They are, for example, the company I'm with, it's got so many products that are shipped to over 100 different countries, and that's thanks through the power of the internet. So I do enjoy this industry, and all the products. A lot of people may say, well, why is it more expensive, for example? But that's because it is a better quality product. For example, anybody can buy a car, right? But there's a difference when you purchase something like a Honda vehicle as opposed to a BMW or a Mercedes vehicle, just because of the price point. And ultimately, if you were to purchase, let's say, a Honda, you would just pay a particular amount of money then. Or if you pay for a BMW or a Mercedes, which costs more, when you're purchasing a vehicle of a higher price, it actually helps a lot more people because it costs more. It pays for more individuals and supports more families too. So just the internet and internet network marketing is just incredible.
So that sounds like a really good just business model for people to follow.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to talk a little bit about the products that you represent and that you offer. What are some of the health products that you offer to people?
Yeah, well, I mean, for example, the weight loss and weight management and health in general is huge. It's about in United States alone, it's about a $670 billion market. And for people who are obese and overweight, they actually spend an additional $7,000 to $9,000 a year just because of those health conditions. So one of the products I have, for example, is a weight management coffee that our product offers. And luckily, we don't have to teach people how to drink coffee. When I say coffee, people know what it looks like, smells like, tastes like, and so on. And people actually get results on it. We have a group on Facebook that has over 60,000 members, and it's exploding with people's testimonials and things like that. And also with the power of the internet, I might not know how to say hello in Chinese or in German, but it's a universal word. So when I say coffee, people can immediately associate with it. So that's very important. So coffee is a huge market, and then I understand it's an acquired taste. So for some people, we have a product that's like a pina colada flavored drink, and we like to use a hashtag just add water. So you mix it all with water, but it's not just coffee. It's we'd like to think of it as more like a supplement because it has a green tea extract in it. Another great ingredient is Garcinia cambogia. It's been used in it leads back to like Mayan tribes and Native Americans. They would, because a lot of people, Cynthia, you probably know, they would have a great meal. That's why we're told by health nutritionists and scientists, they say pick wisely what you want to eat. Because let's say if I were to eat a bag of chips right now, my body would start digesting it, and I would be I would be functioning at a much lower rate, right? So that's something you want to eat maybe later on when your day is ending. That's not something you want to have for breakfast, right? So just these health adjustments are very important. And of course, you have to upkeep something like that because almost everybody we know has a gym membership. And the difference is just because you have a gym membership doesn't mean you're healthy or a bodybuilder, right?
Do you even go to the gym? You may have the membership, but do you use it?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly, exactly, and that's how our health is, and network marketing in general. We have to be self-conscious, just because we hear these things and we see it, and a lot of people see commercials that fit people and things like that. We do see it, and it's all around us. But at the same time, we have to put some time into being healthy. And but even Warren Buffett says, one of the wealthiest men in the world, he says, if you can make money from a human habit, then the income potential that you can make has no ceiling, no limitation. And coffee is one of those things. It is really a habit.
Yes,
I
I
know
love
people.
coffee.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, so that's one of the products. So it's very important for people who are um, working and they're looking for that additional time freedom, that additional health freedom and money freedom. It's a good idea to take a look at the network marketing industry as a whole.
Mhm.
But there are a lot of companies out there, so you do have to look at the company and see what kind of leadership it has, what kind of support it has, what kind of compensation plan, how do you get paid, and the culture, and then also the products as well. So for those people who are listening in and are lit up to attain that freedom, it's definitely do your due diligence and look for a great company. But it is an incredible lifestyle that offers great freedom for those involved.
Mhm. So the people who contact you, are they looking to just improve their health? Is that usually how they first contact you?
Well, I'd like to. Health is, of course, important, but they want to. We all want these three areas. I'd be crazy to say that I don't want any more money. I'd be crazy. I don't want to be any much healthier, right? And there's some things that I enjoy doing. Not necessarily in front of the computer all day. I enjoy maybe going to a park and everything else. So when we say more time, it's not like more time to but it's more time to do the things that you enjoy to do. So it's these three criteria. There are people who, I mean, one out of three people in the world are overweight. Back in the day, um, the the um, the sugar consumption. If we look at the stock market, for example, there are top three most traded commodities in the world, in the New York Stock Exchange. One of them is crude oil. Number two is coffee, and then number three is sugar. And a lot of people are addicted to sugar. Sugar is everywhere. Back in the 1900s, people consumed maybe less than 10 pounds of sugar a year. In today's age, like today's statistics, an average human consumes 200 pounds of sugar a year. So that's an incredible amount of sugar. And a lot of people I know, they want energy, right? And so they go to their local gas station or like a Quick Mart, and they pick up maybe a Throttle or a Red Bull or Amp energy drink.
Oh,
And
sure.
so they're looking at it, but if you flip it and you look at the nutritional facts, you'll see that it has 26 to 28 grams of sugar, which is fine. But then you look at the serving size, and that usually says 2 to 3 servings. So if you do the math, that's between 58 to 78 grams of sugar just in one energy can. So now you're thinking to yourself, are you really getting energy, or are you getting that sugar high, sugar rush? And then, of course, that goes into blood, and life is in the blood. So yeah, the company I'm with, it does have um, just because our CEO, he's a wonderful individual. His name is Dave Jordan, and he is one of 14 kids. So he grew up in a family where someone was always sick, for example, or something was happening, and
Not a kid.
immune. Yeah. So immune system is very important. A lot of people get viruses and get sick, and get all sorts of things is because of the immune system not being too strong. So Yeah, I mean, there are just so many fruits that are very important. For example, Ganadorma, which comes from a red reishi mushroom extract that we like to use. Aloe vera, maca berry, goji berry, all these incredible super fruits that go into these products, and that's why I enjoy the network marketing industry. Um, just because it's a product that actually comes to your front door, and if you're drinking it and taking it, if somebody also shared that as an opportunity with you, you might think, well, what if I just share something like this and then I'll get paid? Because, Cynthia, a lot of people on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, we have our friends or contacts and connections that we have acquired over the years, right?
Mhm.
And what I see people doing is, they might go to the movies and say, oh, that Marvel movie was great, but they're
Right.
not getting that passive or residual checks from Marvel saying, oh, by the way, thanks for sharing to all your friends and family that our movie was great. Here's a check, right? You're not going to see something like that.
No, that's
Or,
for sure.
yeah, or if you went to a restaurant or a Starbucks and you said, oh, I'm having a meeting at Starbucks, and you take a picture of Starbucks cup on your Instagram feed, Starbucks is not going to say, oh man, let's send these people a couple $100 just for doing that. That's unlikely, right? But
Right.
when you have something like network marketing, um, and you drink coffee and you say, oh, this product is changing lives. We have people who lose 30 pounds in 30 days, real testimonials and things like that. So if you take a picture and you share something like that, we're not allowed to make medical claims, but we're allowed to share results. And that's what's very important.
Right.
And that's why this industry is very prominent.
Hmm. That sounds great. So how do people get started, and how do they work with you?
Okay. Well, it's wonderful question. You just go to vitalytennant.com, and then you can just contact and send me a message. And you can tell me whether you want more money, more health, more time, or you just say, look, I just want all three. How do I do it? And then I'll be able to share that information with you as far as what I'm doing. And it's incredible. We enjoy creating leaders, because leaders ultimately create more leaders, and that's what we need. We need a lot of people who are out there that are taking action. A lot of people who get off work, for example, Cynthia, they come home, they put on a robe, maybe they put on Travel Channel, and when I was, that's why I really got into entrepreneurship so early. When I saw that, I said, look, I really don't want to be one of these individuals who just gets home after work and then waits for the weekend. I
Right.
said, I want to go out and I want to travel and I want to do those things that I actually see on the
Mhm.
Travel Channel on the TV, and get paid while doing so. And that's why I ultimately picked the network marketing industry. So, but
Um,
yeah, if you want to learn more, just go to vitalytennant.com and I'll be able to
okay.
help.
Okay,
Yes.
great. That sounds awesome. So thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate learning more about you and how it all works. And yeah, it sounds amazing. So yeah, everybody get over there and talk to Vitaly. He's really awesome. And remember
Yes.
that you can live the life you want, regardless of your story. So if you're looking for more money, more health, and more time, this looks like a really good avenue for you. So thank you so much. Everybody have a great day. Thank you for listening to Stories in Your Hands. Please rate, review, and subscribe to show your support. This podcast is sponsored by loveinyourhands.com, the place to find the secret ingredients to your soulmate. Start your free Soulmate Connection membership today using the most innovative and accurate algorithm to match you to potential long lasting love, all at loveinyourhands.com.